Imagine this, two multimillionaire streamers swimming in money, flexing mansions, cars, and watches that cost more than most people's lifetime earnings. And what are they fighting about? $10,000. Yes, you heard that right. To them it's pocket change, to us it's life-changing money. Rent, bills, groceries for a whole year. But for Aiden, Ross, and Lacy, it became the center of a full-blown public feud. This isn't just a disagreement, it's an internet spectacle, a tragicomedy that perfectly shows how out of touch streamer egos can be. The backstory is almost laughably simple. The two collaborated on an event called No Zmpic. Think luxury venue, over-the-top party vibes, champagne bottles, and unnecessary expenses stacked higher than a Fortnite build battle. According to Aiden, he covered 80% of the costs. That left Lacy responsible for the rest. But when the receipts came in, Aiden claimed Lacy still owed $10,000. Lacy, on the other hand, argued he'd already paid his share, $40,000. His stance? I paid what I agreed to. Don't ask me for more. Now, in a normal world, two grown adults would sort this out with a call, maybe an email, maybe even through their managers. But this isn't the normal world. This is streamer world, where every tiny personal drama becomes a public war staged for millions of viewers. Aiden went live and ranted that Lacy wasn't replying to texts, framing him as a ghosting, freeloading partner. The irony? He sounded less like a businessman and more like a boyfriend complaining about being left on read. Of course, the internet devoured it. Twitter exploded with Lacy pay your debt threads. TikTok creators reenacted the feud in comedy skits. YouTubers churned out reaction videos titled things like Aiden Ross exposes Lacy for 10K scam or Who's right in the 10K drama? Reddit threads turned into courtrooms where amateur internet lawyers debated contractual obligations they had no actual knowledge of. And the most absurd part? The public was more passionate about this $10,000 argument than their own unpaid bills. Here's why the internet latched onto this so hard. Because deep down, people expect more from millionaires. Society has this unspoken rule. If you're rich, act above the petty squabbles. Don't fight over pennies when you're stacking millions. Show some dignity. But in reality, these influencers are just like us. They get petty. They get greedy. They turn molehills into mountains. The only difference? They do it in front of millions, making their egos our entertainment. And then the numbers started flying. Aiden claimed he shelled out $150,000 for the event. Lacy mocked him, saying, "Where did $300,000 even go? Did you pour it into a chocolate milk pool and a bounce house?" That one line went viral instantly. While regular people are rationing grocery bills, these guys are joking about swimming in chocolate milk like they're in Willy Wonka's factory. The gap between influencer reality and everyday reality has never been clearer. Of course, supporters lined up behind both camps. Aiden's fans insisted, he's right, Lacy ghosted him, debt is debt. Meanwhile, Lacy defenders argued he paid what he agreed to. Aiden's just squeezing him for more. But the majority? They just laughed at both of them. Because when two millionaires are fighting like children over what amounts to couch cushion money for them, no one's really winning. And here's where it gets even more ironic. Around the same time, Mr. Beast and his crew were raising millions for clean water projects in Africa. Sophie Rain, who normally gets dragged online for every move she makes, shocked everyone by donating a full $1 million to the cause. Meanwhile, Aiden and Lacy, guys making absurd money from streams and sponsors, are at each other's throats over a fraction of that. The internet didn't miss the contrast. One side of influencer culture is making history with philanthropy, while the other side is writing manifestos over 10K. The PR mess only got worse. Aiden's manager chimed in, "Everyone else has been paid, except your winners, Lacy. Where's the money?" Lacy doubled down, insisting it wasn't his responsibility. Suddenly, it wasn't just a feud, it was almost legal. Aiden even hinted at lawsuits. So what began as a small disagreement turned into a circus, complete with public shaming, legal threats, and fans taking sides like it was a boxing match. And the internet reactions? Priceless. Some mock them for being spoiled. Two millionaires fighting over $10,000 while the rest of us can't afford rent. Others used it as proof that money doesn't change people. No matter how rich you get, you still stress over small things. And, of course, plenty of people just turned it into meme fuel. Fan edits portraying Aiden and Lacy as star-crossed lovers torn apart by money popped up. Imagine wasting hours of your life editing a tragic love montage for two streamers beefing over 10K. That's the internet for you. But here's the kicker. After all this noise, Aiden went ahead and bought a $25 million mansion in Florida. Lacy, meanwhile, is still the punchline of jokes about not paying 10K. The sheer absurdity writes itself. Aiden casually flexes estates while claiming to be stressed about covering an extra event bill. Lacy mocks the expenses but ends up branded as stingy. And through it all, regular people are watching this play out thinking, these guys are fighting over what could pay off my debt, and they treat it like it's monopoly money. The real lesson here? In the age of influencers, what sticks isn't their projects, but their scandals. Nobody is going to remember Ozempic as a great event. What they'll remember is Aiden Ross and Lacy feuding over $10,000. Just like Kai Cenat is remembered for promising a school that never got built, or Ethan Vale for ignoring a clean water charity. The internet doesn't preserve their triumphs. It immortalizes their failures. Because in the end, the internet doesn't forgive, it doesn't forget, but most importantly, it doesn't care about fairness. What it loves is irony. Two men who earn millions reducing themselves to petty squabbles. An event that should have been remembered for fun becoming infamous for financial beef. Influencers whose greatest impact isn't their success, but the ridiculousness of their egos. And that's why this story blew up. Not because people cared about whether Aiden or Lacy was technically right. Not because the $10,000 actually matters, but because it's a mirror held up to the absurdity of modern influencer culture. Millions watched, not to take sides, but to laugh at how far these streamers will go to protect their pride. At the end of the day, Aiden and Lacy's names are permanently tied to this feud. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong. It doesn't matter if Lacy eventually pays, or if Aiden drops the lawsuit. What matters is that the internet has locked their legacy into one viral memory. Two millionaires going nuclear over $10,000. And that's the punchline.